For today's video, I'm gonna recap a 2014 Hungarian drama film called White God. The movie is about a 13-year-old girl, Lily, whose father does not like her dog, Hagen, and abandons him on the road. But Hagen is determined to return to Lily and sets out to find her, along with 250 other dogs. Failing in his efforts to find his beloved owner, Hagen eventually joins a canine revolt against human abusers. So without further ado, let's find out if Hagen escapes his tormentors and finds his beloved human, Lily. The movie begins with a 13-year-old girl, Lily, playing with her mixed-breed dog named Hagen in a park. Soon, her mother Elsa arrives to get her and drop her off at her father, Daniel's place. Lily's parents are divorced, and she hardly gets along with either of them. Elsa is moving to the US, which is why she has to leave Lily with her strict father. It is revealed that Daniel works in a slaughterhouse and hasn't met his daughter for a long time. Daniel is not happy about the fact that Lily brought her dog. Daniel, it turns out, dislikes pets in general, but has to make an exception for his daughter. When they arrive at his block, Daniel's landlady informs him that pets are not permitted in his flat. He reassures that he'll get rid of it in a few days. Later at dinner, Lily disobeys her father by feeding Hagen homemade food that he cooked for her. At night, because of the size of the flat, they must share a room. Despite the fact that the dog suffers from separation anxiety and cannot sleep alone, Daniel locks him away in the bathroom. Hagen cries for a long time while Lily is also unable to sleep without him. Lily eventually goes to him by making an excuse that she has to go to the bathroom and plays Franz Liszt's Hungarian Rhapsody No. 2 on her trumpet. The song calms down Hagen, and Lily sleeps in the bathtub for the night. Someone ringing their doorbell wakes them up the next morning. A man from Canine Control approaches them and informs them of a complaint about their dog howling at night. Daniel initially attempts to cover up the fact that they have a pet, but the guy happens to see Hagen in the flat. He reveals that because Hagen is a mixed breed, the Hungarian government imposes a large mongrel fee on Daniel. He is not in favor of paying money to keep a dog he doesn't even want in the first place. Later that day, Lily brings Hagen with her to her music lesson because Daniel won't let him stay in the flat alone. She then hides him inside an instrument cabinet because animals are not permitted in the classroom. When the music begins to play, a terrified Hagen escapes. Lily's music teacher requests that she send the dog outside and stay in the classroom, but she refuses and walks out with Hagen. Daniel stops the pair as they are crossing the street because he is upset that her music teacher called him to complain about Lily's behavior. At this point, he's determined to get rid of the dog at any cost. He demands Lily take him to a dog shelter, but she insists on keeping him with her. Eventually, he kicks the dog out of the car because he has had enough of her stubbornness. Lily begs the dog to come back, but Daniel forces her inside and drives away. The poor dog follows them, refusing to let go of her, but he is unable to keep up with the speeding car. Lily is in tears as she looks back at Hagen while the car drives away. Hagen dodges several cars and waits for Lily in the middle of the road with rush traffic for several hours, but she never returns. Back at home, Lily wakes up in the middle of the night and gets ready to go find Hagen. But unfortunately, Daniel finds her sneaking out and forces her back to sleep. The next morning, Hagen wakes up after spending a night under a bridge. He searches for food and comes across a dead animal by the side of the road. However, Hagen, who's used to eating fresh, clean food, decides not to eat it. He then goes to a butcher shop and stares desperately at the meat. After following a white stray dog, he eventually ends up in the back of the shop where several stray dogs are eating the leftover meat, but they bark at Hagen when he tries to take a bite. This annoys the butcher, who chases them away, but the naive Hagen remains in his place, making the butcher even angrier. He is just about to use a knife to stab the poor dog when the white dog comes along and distracts him. Both dogs take advantage of the situation and flee, arriving at a puddle where all of the stray dogs have gathered to drink water. Things get worse when animal control workers show up and try to catch them and put them in cages. Fortunately, Hagen and his friend somehow escape, but the workers chase them through the streets before they get rescued by a homeless person. After the workers have left, the man ties a rope around his neck and keeps him as a pet. On the other hand, Daniel takes Lily back to her music class and forces her to apologize to the teacher for yesterday. However, as soon as she gets the chance, Lily sneaks out of class and goes to the street where they had left Hagen, hoping that he still might be around. She looks around the entire neighborhood, but sadly, Hagen is nowhere to be found. She puts up posters of the missing dog, calls out his name, and waits for him in the rain, but all her efforts are futile. Later that night, the homeless man sells Hagen to a dog-fighting ring. He is chained up in the back of a shop with more dogs like him. Soon, an old man arrives in search of a dog for dog-fighting competitions. The dealer claims Hagen will not be suitable for fighting because he is a lap dog, but the old man purchases him anyway. Hagen is then given a sleeping pill, which causes him to fall asleep. The old man takes him to his home and gives him a protein powder mixture. The old man regularly beats him to make him more aggressive. Not just that, he is mostly starved and caged all day. The only time he is let out is when the old man trains him. He receives brutal beatings if he disobeys orders. The dog situation has gotten worse. Every day, the old man's training methods get more difficult. Hagen eventually stops being the gentle dog he once was and becomes a very aggressive dog who is eager to enter the fighting ring. Meanwhile, Lily continues to look for him. She asks about him with the owner of a dog shelter. She is informed that he could have been killed in a car accident or a street brawl. Her day is made worse when her bicycle is stolen from outside the shelter. Later that night, the old man takes Hagen to his first fight. According to the rules, for one dog to win, the other must die. People place bets on them and make large profits. Everyone believes that the old man will lose when he introduces Hagen. The old man is even told he could have done better, but he is confident that he has trained Hagen pretty well. Hagen and the Rottweiler begin the fight. After a bloody and injury-filled struggle, Hagen finally manages to take control of his opponent and claim victory. A dog dealer approaches the old man, impressed by Hagen's abilities, and offers to buy him. The old man declines his offer, which leads to an argument. So while they are arguing, the lights go out and Hagen somehow manages to run away. He continues running to get as far away from the dog dealers as possible. Alternatively, Lily is rushing home when she runs into Peter, a classmate from music. She asks him if she can join him at a high school party that he's about to attend. He is initially hesitant to bring her, but he believes she can be used to sneak drugs into the party. He forces her to smuggle some pills into the party while hiding them in her pocket. Lily doesn't care about the fact that everyone at the party is much older than she is. With nothing else to do, she sits in a corner, watching everyone dance, and eventually falls asleep on the floor at the end of the night. The next morning, Lily wakes up to a dog licking her face. Turns out, the police raid the party and Lily is taken to the police station after being caught with drugs. Thankfully, she is allowed to go back home with her father because her tests come back negative. After seeing his daughter alive and well, Daniel sheds a tear for the first time in a long time. He had been petrified to death when Lily didn't return home. He says he's sorry for taking Hagen from her and that he'll get her a new dog. They return home after Lily forgave her father when he promises to attend her upcoming concert. The next morning, Hagen finds a puddle and meets up with his pal, the white dog. They spend a rough night by the water puddle as it rains throughout the night. The next morning, animal control officers show up yet again and take them, only to put them in a shelter. One of the officers notices that Hagen is injured, so he receives medical attention for it. He is then given food and placed in a cage with a large number of other stray dogs. He doesn't even look at the food, even though the majority of the dogs eat it. The next day, a bunch of people visit the shelter to choose the dogs they want to adopt. Hagen barks at a girl who appears to like him while also being aggressive toward the workers. Meanwhile, Lily is playing the trumpet at a concert with her orchestra. Like a good father, Daniel is sitting in the audience to cheer for his daughter. On the other hand, Hagen attacks the dog handler just as he's about to be placed in a different cage with the other dogs. He becomes hostile and bites the victim on the neck, eventually killing him. The other dogs rush out of the cage after him. They choose Hagen to be the pack leader because he is the one who sets them free. When the shelter's owner tries to stop him, he shoves her aside and flees with the others. Soon, the dogs start an uprising against their human oppressors, wreaking mayhem as Hagen locates and kills all the people who harmed him. The dogs eventually end up at the concert where Lily is playing. They surround it, forcing the audience to stay inside the auditorium for their own safety. Everyone begins to panic as the performance is interrupted. Despite Peter's warnings, Lily leaves the group when she senses Hagen might also be there. On their way out, a stranger warns them not to go downstairs because the entire city is on lockdown. Finally, in the hope that she can stop the chaos, she rides her bicycle down the deserted streets in an attempt to locate Hagen. Eventually, a pack of dogs starts chasing her from behind. Lily eventually stumbles and falls to the ground, but they get past her as if they are on some kind of mission. It turns out that Hagen is directing them to every single person who has ever harmed him. He seeks out the vendor who had sold him to the fighting ring, while his pack soon arrives and attacks him, leaving a bloody mess. They've already left by the time Lily arrives at the scene. When a police officer finds her, he puts her in the car. She manages to get away though, and continues to cycle while looking for Hagen. When she enters a butcher shop, she finds the butcher dead on the floor. She calls Daniel, who is worried about her safety, and begs him to abide by all the rules and remain inside. It appears she has figured out that the dogs didn't want the meat. Instead, they're just killing the people who have ever harmed them in any way. Despite Daniel's best efforts to stop him, Lily is persistent about finding Hagen. While this is going on, the police shoot and kill a number of dogs, but more keep showing up. Hagen's next target is the old man who actually trained Hagen to kill. Once Hagen has brutally killed him, his last target is Daniel. Lily returns home by bicycle, only to find out that the landlady has also been killed. Freaked out, she rushes back to the auditorium knowing that her father's life is also in jeopardy. Daniel is happy to see that she is safe. Later, Hagen, who seems to have forgotten Lily after everything he has been through, shows up in front of Lily. His pack joins him as he growls at Lily. Daniel steps forward with a blowtorch to distract them and protect his daughter as they are about to attack her. That's when Lily starts playing Franz Liszt's Hungarian Rhapsody No. 2. After hearing the song, Hagen finally remembers her beloved owner. The pack takes his lead as he settles down. Soon, they all lay down on the floor watching her play. Daniel is relieved that his daughter is safe. The movie ends, and Lily and Daniel join the dogs in lying on the ground. With that being said, this is it for today's video.